My God, this is a hard one. I'll probably say that more than once. Because when I'm working through these, sometimes I'm looking at myself and I'm like, girl, you got more growing to do. And I'm here for it. I'm gonna be with myself. I'm gonna be with this body for another 50 years. Right? Raise your hand if you're gonna be here for another 50 years. And I wanna be vibing. So let's get into this. Something changes in midlife. So it's not all at once. It's not even dramatic. It's more subtle. It's kind of in the background, but it's definitely there. It's when you start to notice that a breakup feels less about heartbreak and more about dissonance, or like a strain that happens when you're living out of alignment. And in midlife, we get really acquainted with it. At least that's been my experience. When relationships end, you don't feel the devastation that you may have once been familiar with. Now, you feel a little bit more settled, and you might start wondering, has dating changed? Or is this me? So, if it's me, what about me is different? So, I want to say this very carefully because this isn't a rant. I mean, I guess we'll soon find out. And it's not bitterness, although some may say otherwise. But hear me out, because you might find a bit of fresh air by the time I get through this. So, if you're dating in midlife, say, after 50, 55, and relationships keep feeling off, not really wrong, not full on disastrous, but more misaligned with you, I want you to hear this. It's not that you're failing at love, and it's not that you're too picky. It's likely that you've outgrown the level of emotional development most relationships offer. And that can feel like loneliness until we call it what it is and name it out loud. So, this is the inner room. Look around. And this space is for women in midlife who are managing the changes that are happening in our bodies right now and how we relate to life because of those changes. So let's give this its name so we get it out, so we can see it and begin to recognize it. This might come as a surprise, or maybe it won't, but mostly every man that I've dated has turned out to be emotionally underdeveloped. What? You might ask in shock. It's not they're necessarily cruel and not necessarily abusive, although we can and should unpack whether certain behaviors were psychologically abusive in another video. But right here and right now, this talk is about us, and this talk is for us. It's about us identifying and laying the foundation for our wholeness so that we can spot misalignment faster. So, for the sake of this conversation, we're not talking about physical abusiveness, but otherwise, they've certainly been emotionally underdeveloped. And so, here's where we are. Earlier in life, that didn't cost very much. You know, I had more energy then, I was more flexible then, I was more tolerant of compensating, but now it costs me in my body when relationships are trash. And at this big age, the pain of trash doesn't just remain emotional, it shows up physically too. So, this is where things might get confusing and you might be expecting sadness or tears at a breakup now, but instead, you start to feel more restlessness, you feel uneasiness. You may even feel jittery at times, and you think, why is this so visceral? Why am I feeling this so viscerally? Like my body is trying to get to the lesson. I mean, it's trying to get to the lesson pretty quickly from this breakup. And it just You just feel off in your body. At least that's been my experience. You also may feel more depressed than you feel you should be feeling. Well, here's why. There's something called nervous system memory. So, what is nervous system memory? It's the memory that your body learned before you could even utter words, when you were just a tiny little tyke. It's your body remembering what usually happens next. So, not what you were told would happen, not what you believed might happen, but what actually happened often enough that your body came to expect it. So, if you grew up with an absent caregiver or an emotionally unavailable caregiver, or maybe the person who you felt like was steady to you, they left you. Maybe they even explained why, but your body, your tiny body, still had to survive their absence. So you adjust yourself and work to have ways to accommodate that disconnect from them, just so that you could try and maintain attachment. And in doing so, your body learned a very specific rule. Your body learned that it needed strong emotion to attach to them in order for it to survive. Now, this was a literal reaction that was happening in your body. That is something that was a part of your biology. As a child, you cannot regulate grief alone. You can't calm fear alone. As a child, we need someone bigger. We need someone steadier. We need someone present. So when that presence wasn't reliable, your nervous system adapted. It learned to interrupt the emotion that flowed throughout your body. It learned to hold it instead, not to complete it, not to finish it. It learned not to let it flow, but to stay vigilant so that it can be available to the possible chance of connection. So because emotions didn't flow then, your body now, your biology, adapted to attaching quickly whenever the potential for connection appears. Biology reigns supreme. So that was your body's intelligence. But it was under pressure. Now here's where midlife calibration comes in. Your body changes, your hormones shift, your tolerance narrows, your nervous system becomes more honest. Estrogen once buffered stress. It used to smooth edges and help you override discomfort. But now that buffering is gone. So this midlife calibration that we're doing is intentional work to intentionally learn how to thrive in the body that we currently have. We stop compensating and start adjusting. How we rest, how we connect, how we choose relationships. Now the body now speaks faster than the mind, and it's asking for accuracy. So when a relationship ends, your system doesn't just feel loss. It signals deep discomfort because of interrupted emotional flows from the past. So the emotions that we have now, these need a container. And what's a container, you might be thinking, you might be asking. And if you are, here's what it is. Container or containment means, for us now, it means staying present in your body long enough for emotions to move through. Hold tight, no immediate responses. Sit with it. Let the emotion move. Let it soften slightly. Say about 10 to 15% softer, more soft. But if after sitting with a strong emotion and you still feel restless, uneasy, or jittery, that doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. Hold tight. It's an indication for you to stay with it. This is a way to rewire your nervous system so that this new framework overrides and becomes your point of reference for you to more quickly and with more joy return to your life. So, this is what containment sounds like. It sounds like a conversation to yourself that says, I am staying with you while you feel this discomfort. I'm not leaving you. It's your time to remind yourself that you don't need to reach for anyone right now. No, it's not because connection is bad, but because your body is learning something new right now. Remind yourself, I am safe. I am here for all of my work, right now and forever. You're not trying to calm the feeling, you're letting it have edges. You're letting it rise, then fall. And as it passes, you might begin to feel tired and you might notice that the intensity softens. That's actually biology completing an emotional cycle. The emotion goes through activation, it goes through sensation, it goes through expression, and it ends with completion. When emotion is allowed to move without being analyzed or rescued, it completes. When emotion is unfinished, it doesn't complete and it does not vanish. Instead, it integrates into you as a pattern. So, unfinished grief becomes longing. Unfinished longing becomes attachment hunger. Attachment hunger sends us back into relationships that cannot meet us. Because emotions never got to complete, and our biology is determined to have someone help us do that. Our bodies is determined to have somebody help us do that, even though we're now adults and we no longer need that. Biology reigns supreme. What never got to end was the feeling itself. What never got to end in you was the feeling itself. So it became a part of a pattern in your body. So it's not a character flaw. It's an interrupted process, finally trying to be allowed to be finished. This is the part I want to name clearly, because naming it is what dissolves the loneliness. What's happening isn't that you're failing at relationships, and it isn't that men suddenly became unbearable. What's happening is that your body, your new body, your midlife body, no longer wants to use attachment to manage unfinished pain. And that, my dear, is the shift. Earlier in life, connection helped you regulate. It helped you survive emotion. Now your nervous system is asking for something different. It's asking you to let emotion finish instead of passing it to someone else to hold. And when you don't have language for that, it feels like loneliness, or you may feel isolated. But once it's named, you can start experiencing the transition. So let's circle back to the question we started with. Dating after 50, 55. Is it even worth it? The more honest question might be, am I seeking connection or am I seeking relief? I'll tell you, relief feels urgent. Connection does not. So this conversation today isn't anti-men. It's really pro-clarity. And truly, some men can meet you here, although they are rare. And truly, you probably won't find them on dating sites. They're mostly not there. Also, opting out of dating isn't bitterness, it's discernment. And if romantic partnership is no longer where your nervous system feels good or settles, that doesn't mean you're meant to be alone. It means you diversify your support. So, deep female friendships where you don't perform strength, chosen family that's consistent, boring, reliable, present, spiritual anchoring, something that steadies meaning for you. These are big moves. These are not consolation prizes. These are ways to repair the nervous system that otherwise leads to attachment issues and allows, instead of pulling you toward a relationship, allows romantic desire if it's in your vicinity. That romantic desire can now be an option for you. Not required for survival. When intimacy no longer needs to repair the past, it can slow down. It will feel calmer. It feels less urgent. You don't collapse into it. You don't feel saved by it. You feel curious. You feel still intact. And if it never comes, you don't wither. I said if it never comes, you do not wither. Your body no longer allows yourself to wither. And you will not become irrelevant. Instead, you remain present in your own life. This is not about giving up on love. It's about refusing to use love as anesthesia. You're not too old. You're not too picky. You're certainly not broken. Your nervous system learned early. And now it's updating slowly, honestly, without drama. If this space feels right for you or is relevant to someone that you love, subscribe. I'm Minty Ray, and I'll be here in this soft, cushy, comfy space where we name things so that we can vibe and thrive. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, take care of yourselves. All right, later.